Good morning, guys. Hope you're well. Here we are on the 22nd of June. Now, we're going to look at the economic calendar, see what's going on today. And I'm also going to look at the strengths of the FX market so we can see if there's any movers or shakers. So let's jump into this straight away. We'll start with the strengths. What we can see is the biggest mover and shakers over the weekend has been the Aussie and the Swissy. The Aussie's gaining strength, Swissy is losing strength. Now, when we look at the markets for the majors and which we'll pick out, we've got the US is strong, but I don't trade any of the lower markets. So the ones that are weakening, the New Zealand, Swissy and the CAD, I don't trade any of them. So there isn't really a pair for me to pick out. And you've also got the pound relatively strong. Now, I'm going to touch on that in the news because I'd be really careful with the pound this week. Now, when we come down into the majors that move every single day, again, it's the US CAD, US Swissy as shown the best. I don't particularly trade them, so I'll be looking at my standard basket, which is here, and looking for the best of the bunch. So the way that I do that is very, very simple. I have a quick look. So I'll start with euro dollar at the top and we'll see what the positions are. Well, the euro is mid-ground. US is at the top. It's held that position because it's still gaining strength in the US markets. And whether we like it or not, the US dollar is the world currency. And things are calming down a little bit in the Middle East. It's boosting things up. Oil prices came down. And then, as usual, it had a little bit of the hokey-cokey of the strait is open, the strait is shut. So be really careful this week because the markets could be a bit choppy. So it's okay. It's not the best, but it could get there. Pound US, they are both strong, but we do have the pound losing a little bit of ground. But it does have still a little bit of push in it. Coming down into pound JPY, again, pretty closely packed. Euro JPY is way too packed. And then we've got US JPY, which is here. So the best contender is actually the US JPY, and there's two reasons. One, it's the biggest separation here, but also it's the biggest separation here. We have them going in opposite directions, which is exactly what we want. They are pretty wide apart, so it shows that there's movement to be had. And that is the best of the bad bunch, okay? Failing that, it's Eurodollar, okay? Now, when we come into the economic news, which we're going to have a quick look at now, let's get it onto the correct day. There's nothing went on through the night. First thing to do is just get rid of all of your low level, and what you're left with is this lot, okay? So this morning, there is literally nothing to worry about. It's technical all the way. All you need to do is just worry about the open because obviously it's Monday morning and Monday morning opens are pretty dangerous to start with. But what I will say is today is a fully technical day. But when it comes to the pound, we're going to have to be really careful because obviously there is massive political upheaval in the UK at the moment. For those of you that are overseas, there's a high possibility that Keir Starmer will resign this week. But we have heard these rumours before. At the moment, it seems to be quite a strong odds-on favourite it'll happen. The guy is probably the most hated person in politics, and there'll be celebrations and street parties when he goes. However, this will not be the same for the markets because normally what happens when a prime minister goes, the chancellor goes with it. And if the chancellor goes, that will really bring in uncertainty in the bond markets and the pound will melt. It really will. Don't so much look at the Premier leaving. That will destabilise things, but it could also bring a little bit of confidence because British politics is a joke at the moment. Be more concerned about watching what happens with the Chancellor. If there's a resignation or a sacking of the Chancellor this week, be really careful with the FTSE and the pound because the markets will absolutely rocket from nowhere and you won't see it coming. So it won't be on economic calendars. Keep an eye on your Squawk box with just normal news feeds. If there's a resignation, make certain you're out of the markets and let it calm down. Okay, guys, have yourselves a great day. Catch you soon.